Welcome back. Now, Tshwane residents are divided over whether coalition agreements will make a difference to the area. This after election results showed Tshwane will remain a hung municipality. For the past 5 years, the city was governed through coalition arrangements. However, its council was marred in conflict. Will a coalition government make a difference this time around in terms of service delivery? eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones is on the ground finding out what this means for the people living in the capital. Pule, of course, the DA leading in that capital. What's the history of coalitions in the metro?
Well, you know what, Maseko, 30% of municipalities hung, coalition talks at full throttle right now. And what we know here from 2016 is that there was an EFF-DA-led government as well that saw, the introduction of about 4 mayors in the city, including now MPL of the DA in Gauteng, Solim Simanga, the embattled Stevens Bukhalapa, and of course acting mayor Abel Tau, who's now for Action SA, and Randall Williams, the current mayor in the city. So there's quite a lot that has been going on. And when you look at the numbers, particularly to what Action SA's head, Herman Mashaba, has said before, they're not willing to go into coalition talks with the ANC. So they may favor the coalition talk with the DA. And we do know that the Freedom Front Plus already has one of their MMCs in council by the name of Saki Duploy, who of course has as well worked the DA as well into a coalition in terms of parties working together. And what we understand is that right now the DA is in talks with other parties that we can confirm, as we've spoken to some of their party members as well. And sooner or later they'll be releasing those names of who they will be going into coalition with. And right now what we understand is while the talks are quite sweet, this may lead to intense strict conditions. Remember just yesterday the EFF releasing a statement as to what are some of the strict conditions they want, especially in the city of Tshwane, saying they will only go with the party that's willing to fix the water issue in Hammanskraal, which has been persisting for years, which has been one of the focal issues in the township, and not even a single party has then went out to address it. There's been movements saying that they're looking into it, but to date it hasn't been resolved.
And Pule, do we know how far the DA is in terms of discussing coalitions? We know the ANC is having their NEC meeting this weekend, and of course that will be top of their agenda. Do we know how far the DA is in terms of the city of Tshwane?
Well, currently we don't know how far it is. We do know that they've been in a days of locked-in meetings speaking as to how they will be taking this issue forward. But they haven't given a full date as when the outcome will be revealed. They have said that once that is the case, they will be speaking to the media. And of course, like you've just mentioned there with that NEC meeting, that will be one of the outcomes that will be taking place. Herman Mashaba has made pronouncements such as he's been being approached by the ANC. But of course, he's made it quite clear that he's not willing to go into coalition talks with the ANC. John Steenhuisen campaigning just 2 weeks ago in Atteridgeville, also making it quite clear that they will only go into coalition with parties that are willing to abide by the strict policies which will ensure a service delivery. But you'd remember as well, just 3 weeks ago, the Deputy President, David Mabuza, campaigning as well in Mamelodi and of course Atteridgeville, making it clear that they would get outright majority. But that hasn't been the case. In fact, what we understand is that the ANC has sleepwalked into a room of disaster, and right now they find themselves in a corner having to talk to some of these smaller parties who will be calling some of those shots there. We're seeing the eNCA Freedom Party as well in Johannesburg making quite great progress there. So there's quite a lot of room for coalition talks that has to be taking place there. But what's key is to whether some of these strict policies will ensure service delivery, such as what we've seen in the city of Tshwane, which has once been placed under administration due to political squabbling in its council.
Now, Pule, of course, the city of Tshwane is actually going to be quite an interesting one because of how close the numbers are between the DA and ANC.
Very well, much so, and there could be a kingmaker here. And what's quite also interesting are the numbers. In fact, what we're seeing is that Action SA there also has been making quite great progress. Now, the person there leading the party in Tshwane by the name of Abel Tau, once a DA member, also making quite great strides in places such as Hammanskraal, is the very same key political leader there of Action SA there, who could be making, quite key decisions with Action SA when it comes to who he will advise that they go into coalition talks with there. And it's quite interesting to see who will be their favouring, because what we do know is that they will not be going into coalition talks with the ANC. But we also witnessed the marriage that took place between the DA and the EFF previously, which didn't go quite well, Masego, and ended up being quite difficult and impacting residents as well, whereby crucial decisions were being taken and, adjustment budgets being interrupted, meaning service delivery wasn't accelerated. The ANC kept on as well, revealing statements which they were making allegations of some of the corruption scandals that brought this city to its knees. So those talks will be quite crucial, and it will be interesting to see who the DA will be announcing in terms of some of those coalition talks in the city soon.
All right, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, let's leave it there for now. It would be interesting to hear, of course, what the people in the city of Tshwane say about what they're expecting.